Yeah. So briefly, that's kind of. It seems like so we have the experience of first gen, which is like late '80s, right? And then Jason with mid to early '90s, and then third gen with me and everyone else late '90s, up until he passed away. And so originally, I kind of looked at it as we all kind of intentionally came to him to learn something specific, or we wanted to learn the art altogether. But that's not completely true because, like with Renato, it was more about a friendship that started off first, and then kind of secondhand was learning what he was working on too, as far as his art and his craft. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, like, who was back then? There was a core people that he had was training, and obviously people going in and out, and a lot of high-end people were coming through. I mean, teachers,
Like
not
Pierre and
well, those guys are from Europe by that time. I mean, that was like early '90s by then,
okay.
and I there were just a lot of high-end people, skilled people, if you will. They would
Mhm.
come see him because he has something that not too many people had. His system, if you will, was one of accuracy, all kinds of stuff that people didn't have because a lot of the martial arts back then were stick based, and then if you were a higher level or the highest level, you were given a knife edge.
Mm.
Where Sonny was the opposite, which is everything he did was knife based. All the angles, all the strikes, all the hits were knife based. In my eyes, right?
Mm.
But he had the accuracy portion, the agility portion, and not to me, nobody could touch him, right? But back then, like I said, I was really just he had a curriculum already by then that he was trying to get out of, right? And I remember having a conversation about you guys, you two, you and Jasper in particular, that he was really really happy with because he wanted to pass on the moral, the footwork stuff, and not too many people can flow with him. I mean, can follow him, right? And because they didn't have the background or he couldn't teach it because nobody could do what he wanted to see. So he was really happy to watch you. Starting you guys from the foundation portion what is was his biggest that made him happy because now he could translate, give it to you guys because he couldn't do it with other people. That includes me, by the way, right? There were certain things that he was looking for, but you guys were supple. So,
Hmm.
you guys were young. He could mold you guys, and I think he was happiest there to see you guys. And
Mm.
I had that conversation with him, and so I'm glad that you guys are doing what you guys are doing now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as a third gen person and someone who came into it with a different kind of intention and perspective, I'm always interested in learning like what were the early years like? Because you mentioned that yes, Sonny's stuff, his system, and his material is blade based, but a large portion of his curriculum, at least the one that he rendered at that time, was stick based, and
Mm.
then there was knives. I'm curious about what your training was like, since it wasn't necessarily the entry point of student and teacher, but more of like a friendship. Was it kind of a casual thing, or did you have an intentional set time to be like, "Can you
No,
show me this to that?"
no, I didn't have that kind of mindset. He just basically gave it to me as he was sharing it with other people. Like we
Mm,
would come to the house. He started me off with the Largo. I didn't do the curriculum. He showed it to me. He showed me the tapes. In fact, I couldn't understand the tapes because somebody in that tape was freaking talking while I was looking at the tape. And I won't mention any names, but Jason couldn't stop talking while I was watching.
Yeah.
But I mean, really impressive stuff, right? But he wanted to show me the Largo because he felt that he could share that with me.
mm,
So we did a lot of Largo stuff. Then he obviously does what he did to most of us, which is chase you around with two fucking knives, excuse me, two knives all over the room and this is your baptism, and we've all experienced that, right? And just to trigger your footwork, your agility, and see where you're at and what you could add and all that stuff. But I didn't go through the curriculum. I know of it. I've done a little bit of it, and I'm more so now that I'm going through it because other people are interested in it, right? So it has there's a two mindsets there where do you, I don't want to get off topic, but do you follow what he went through to get to what it is that you want, or do you go through the flow-based kind of stuff to get so there's two different times. A lot of people feel that to get to what he was doing, you have to go through what the steps that he took, right? And which is all the curriculum stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the latter part, the third generation, where he believes he can get you there out of flow-based pendulum